This episode is a big one, and I could not be more excited because today we're talking about Disneyland in Anaheim, California. Much love to Disney World in Florida, but Disneyland was the first. It's the original home of Mickey, Minnie, and some of America's favorite childhood memories. So pop on those mouse ears and get in line for Splash Mountain because this is Disneyland, the best parts.
How'd you know I won this?
I just didn't.
Let's start where most stories start, at the beginning. Disneyland, you're probably not surprised to learn, was all Walt Disney's idea. See, back in the 1950s, people who were huge fans of Disney movies were writing letters to Walt saying they'd like to tour the studios with their families. But he was worried that might be a little too boring. What those families needed was magic. And magic is what he gave them. Disneyland opened in 1955, and Walt's thoughtful touches are all over the park. It's true, there are hidden secrets all over Disneyland. Like, did you know that Walt had an actual apartment built above the firehouse on Main Street? And when Disneyland opened on July 17, 1955, Walt was there in his small apartment to watch the first crowds flood into his park. Speaking of Main Street, it was built using forced perspective. That means that the buildings appear larger than they actually are. The first floors of the buildings are normal sized, but every additional level gets a little smaller. If you look closely at the second floor, it is not tall enough for an adult to stand up in. So there's a little magic going on as soon as you enter the park. There's also, of course, a literal magic shop, and a young Steve Martin was an employee. Steve Martin! Pretty impressive. But honestly, all of Disneyland's employees are impressive. From the people who work in the shops to the characters interacting with guests, you can just tell they love their jobs. Their smiles, friendliness, and enthusiasm are a huge part of what makes Disneyland so special. And there's nothing that can compare to seeing your favorite character in person for the very first time, even if your favorite character is guest on.
Yeah, I'm literally the most attractive attraction here.
One character you're sure to see at Disneyland is Mickey. Ah, good old Mickey. But I bet you've never seen the other kind of mouse. You know, these guys. That's because another of Disneyland's cool secrets is cats. That's right. A few well-cared-for felines roam the grounds at night as a kind of natural pest control. Mickey is safe, no worries there. And it's not just the cats who keep the park scrubbed clean. Even though you've never seen it happen, employees are constantly tidying up. That amusement park is cleaner than my house. Of course, the reason that Disneyland has to be on high alert for crumbs is because of all the delicious food everywhere. The churros and Dole Whip are Disneyland favorites, and of course, you've got to try one of those iconic Mickey Mouse ice cream bars. And if you book a seat at the Red Rose Tavern, try the gray stuff. It's delicious. And all those dining options means Disneyland smells as good as it looks. Yep, if you ask dedicated Mouseketeers what's so cool about the park, a lot of them will tell you it smells incredible. Not only do the treats make all the air smell deliciously sweet, but Disneyland actually utilizes a device called the Smellitizer, a sort of aromatherapy system that releases vanilla odors to lift your mood and entice you to sample those desserts.
That smells like candy.
Just try not to overdo it on the snacks before you hop on the rides. Oh yeah, the rides. We haven't forgotten about the rides, and I'm not even gonna try to pick a favorite. Let's just say it's a tie between Pirates of the Caribbean, Splash Mountain, the Haunted Mansion, Space Mountain, It's a Small World, the Indiana Jones Adventure, the Mad Tea Party, and King Arthur's Carousel. As you can imagine, I'm kind of a Fast Pass guy. I just wish I could use that Fast Pass at all the Disney parks, all over the world. Disneyland is the original, but Disney World, Tokyo Disney, Disneyland Paris, Hong Kong Disneyland, and Shanghai Disney are all incredible. And it should come as no surprise that those thoughtful Disney touches are all over every park. They even alter a few rides to better fit different cultures. For instance, Asian culture has a different relationship with ghosts than American culture. So the Mystic Manor at Hong Kong Disneyland is about enchanted objects coming to life instead of ghouls and ghosts. It's exactly this kind of attention to detail that makes Disney so popular with folks from all over the world. But every true Disney fan knows that it's more than the rides. It's such a joy to look around and take in the whole experience. And when you do that, don't forget to look down, because at Mickey's Toontown, you'll find a few manhole covers that actually play music when you step on them. Just another one of those cool secrets sprinkled everywhere to make your vacation a little more magical. The fact is, Disneyland is just fun and authentic. It's the least ironic place in the world. And if churros and Splash Mountain aren't really your thing, don't worry, because Star Wars Land is going to open in Disneyland and Disney World in 2019. That's right, Star Wars on both coasts. Leave it to the happiest place on Earth to take you from Neverland to a land far, far away. Basically, Disneyland has something for everyone. For kids and for grown-ups, for parents and grandparents, for all people from all over the world. It's the one place you're never too young to enjoy. Or too old. It's a fun and fascinating fantasy world, thoughtfully created by a man who just wanted families to have a good time. You can unplug from work, eat whatever you want, enjoy the rides, and watch kids have a blast, or have a blast yourself. And you never know, maybe you'll get a special surprise from Captain Jack Sparrow on your next Pirates of the Caribbean ride. We've barely scratched the surface of what makes Disneyland so wonderful. So tell us about all your favorite things in the comments, and subscribe to this channel because I'll be back here next week to talk about more of our favorite things and the best parts.